Immunity refers to the body's ability to defend itself against substances that threaten its proper functioning or survival. These threats can be of three types: microbes, viruses, bacteria, fungi, parasites, cells that have become cancerous or a foreign body, a splinter, as well as a transplanted organ. It has long been known that with age or illness, immunity weakens and the body becomes more vulnerable to infections. The latter often become more frequent and more serious. A common flu can then degenerate into pneumonia and be fatal. That said, we also notice that some adults apparently in good health and having a normal quantity of immune cells, according to blood tests, often contract infections such as colds or gastroenteritis. On the contrary, under similar conditions, others are more resistant to it. The difference would mainly be in terms of lifestyle. In fact, numerous data from epidemiological studies indicate that diet, smoking, sleep, physical activity, degree of stress, the quality of human relationships and the living environment all influence the quality of the response. Health and immunity are therefore closely linked. Taking care of your health on a day-to-day basis improves your immunity, and vice versa. The Risk Factors section presents lifestyle habits that weaken the immune system, and the Prevention section, which can strengthen them. If at some point the body needs an outside boost, there are a number of additional solutions that can be used. The most commonly used sections are medical treatments and complementary approaches. What is the immune system for? It's the immune system that fights off common infections, such as colds and flu, but also the long battles against cancer. Having a healthy immune system is not only a guarantee of health, but also of life. Without an immune system, an ordinary scratch would be fatal since the scratch exposes our tissues to a host of microbes naturally present in the air, in water and on the skin. Scientists are not very familiar with the characteristics of the optimal immune response. However, they know that the immune system is linked, through a complex communication system, to virtually all regions of the body. Symptoms and people at risk for weak immune systems. The following symptoms may be a sign of a weakened immune system. Persistent fatigue, which often hides chronic stress or lack of sleep, two factors that weaken immunity. Increased susceptibility to infections, which is seen in frequent colds, urinary tract infections, herpes outbreaks, recurrent vaginitis, persistent wart, etc. Wounds that take time to heal. People who are weakened by any of the following factors are particularly affected. Chronic or serious illness, diabetes, lung disease, cardiovascular disorder, kidney disease, cancer, infection with the human immunodeficiency virus (HIV), etc. Treatment, for example, chemotherapy against cancer. Older people generally have an immune system that responds less quickly and less strongly to infections than middle-aged adults. Besides, this explains why vaccination is less effective in them. Their smaller appetite and their less varied diet partly experience it. Thinning of the skin, drying of the mucous membranes and slower healing of wounds, and also a lot. Indeed, the body envelope is the most important safeguard against infections. Over time, the body also produces fewer white blood cells. Risk factors for a weak immune system. Malnutrition. An unbalanced diet in quantity or quality is the most important cause of immune deficiency worldwide and makes it vulnerable to several infectious diseases. Sedentary lifestyle, and conversely, overtraining. Lack of sleep. Chronic stress. One of the multiple effects of chronic stress on the body is to reduce the immune system's ability to respond. Exposure to toxins, including the use of chemical household cleaners and herbicides on lawns, and the consumption of insecticide-sprayed fruits and vegetables. Exposure to outdoor air pollutants as well as those that spread inside homes, mold, bacteria, tobacco and flue gases. Overweight and obesity. Immune functions appear to be compromised by excess adipose tissue, according to studies in humans and animals. It has even been observed that obesity increases the risk of contracting certain specific microbes, such as influenza, responsible for the flu, and Helicobacter pylori, associated with peptic ulcers. Hormonal changes and the increased presence of pro-inflammatory substances may be involved. Prevention of a weak immune system. Here are the lifestyle habits that, to the best of our knowledge, provide the best chance for maintaining a strong immune system. Major malnutrition, slump, with deficit in calories and proteins is the main cause of immune deficiency. It occurs mainly where poverty and famine are present. In industrialized countries, micronutrient deficiency is becoming more common. The popularity of junk food partly explains this phenomenon. This form of malnutrition results from a lack of vitamins and minerals. Animal studies have shown that a deficiency in just one of the following micronutrients affects immune functions: zinc, selenium, iron, copper, calcium, folic acid or vitamins A, B6, C and E2.3. For the basic principles of a balanced diet, read a nutrition and food guides. It is important to make sure you consume sufficient portions of fruits and vegetables, protein and good fats every day. To stimulate the immune system, some vegetables seem to be more effective than others. This would be the case for mushrooms, especially shiitakes and oyster mushrooms. Garlic, onion and shallots are also preferred for their antimicrobial properties. Specific recommendations have been developed for the general population in order to better prevent cancer. They aim in particular to maximize the immune defenses. If you have signs of weak immune systems, it would be helpful to get a blood test prescribed by a doctor and an evaluation of your eating habits by a nutritionist. Moderate physical activity. We know the multiple benefits of regular physical activity: better cardiovascular fitness, good maintenance of muscle mass, normalization of blood pressure, weight control and reduction of several risk factors associated with chronic diseases. In addition to promoting overall good health, exercise may also have a direct effect on immunity. By improving blood circulation, exercise would make it easier for various substances in the immune system to flow through the body. This good circulation is essential to prevent infection of a wound, for example. In addition, it has been observed that certain immune components are stimulated by physical activity. In the elderly, some studies indicate that regular physical activity helps prevent the decline of immune functions. Better to go moderately though, as overtraining would cause upper respiratory infections like the common cold and the flu. Stress management. Undoubtedly, stress has a harmful effect on health if it is present constantly or for a long time. Indeed, researchers who are interested in the link between stress and immunity do not focus on short-term, one-off stresses, but rather on frequent and constant stresses, for example, reconciling the demands of work and life, family or caring for a sick loved one. Stress leads to the release of stress hormones, such as cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones are very useful in the short term, but harmful if they are produced for a long time. They then directly harm the immune system by inhibiting the production of cytokines. Some studies have shown that people caring for a loved one with Alzheimer's have a higher cortisol level and produce fewer antibodies in response to the flu vaccine. The researchers noted that the effect of this stress on immunity was inversely proportional to the family support received by the caregiver. To lower the stress level, it is suggested to identify the situations causing the tensions and to look for ways to deal with them better rather than avoiding them. Consulting a psychologist or psychotherapist can be of great help. Other important factors for health and immunity: reserve enough hours of sleep, according to your needs, on average, a 7-hour night as a minimum. Also, rest when your body tells you to. Do not smoke. Keep your healthy weight, determined based on your height, to calculate your healthy weight. Minimize the risk of food poisoning by taking appropriate precautions. Protect yourself from sexually transmitted infections. Undertake appropriate medical tests based on your age and your specific risks. Ask a doctor about the recommended vaccines based on your age, profession or hobbies. Use antibiotics only when absolutely necessary, and stick to the dosage. Consider the simultaneous use of probiotics to prevent diarrhea caused by antibiotics and to strengthen the intestinal flora. Likewise, for women, do not use douches for hygienic purposes. This practice destroys the natural vaginal flora. Before adopting a pet, find out about the microorganisms it can transmit. Use household products that contain as few chemicals as possible. Clean your fruits and vegetables with a detergent. Use a detergent designed for this purpose, or prefer organic foods. Basic hygiene measures to avoid contracting or spreading an infection: wash your hands frequently with soap and water, especially before preparing food and after using the toilet. When you sneeze, direct your face to the inside of your elbow. Clean and bandage your wounds. Always have any serious injuries examined by a doctor. Do not remove the skin during healing, and refrain from popping a pimple. If you have symptoms of an infection, diarrhea, fever, etc., stay at home. Disinfect kitchen and bathroom surfaces regularly with bleach. To be healthy and keep your immune system strong, eat good, do exercises and stay vigilant. Take care of yourself, be safe.